CJ, thanks for coming back, man. I appreciate you.
Luke Barrett.
Man, so good to have you.
Good to be here again.
Get a little fuzzy here. We were just talking about how like the night and day difference from last year when we did this about the same time of year. It was like 2 degrees, and man, I was frozen by the time we were done. My feet took a while to thaw out. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to show any weakness in front of you.
But listen, the conversation was so hot and electric, man. I was like comfy in a warm blanket the entire time. What can I say?
I was going to ask you. You were in like just a thin sweatshirt. I was like bundled up over here, just like trying to stay focused.
Well, I got a little more. I got a little blubber over here, right? I got a little more mass than you got.
I was going to say you got a bigger ab. Is what I was
Yeah,
going to say.
we have more abs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really appreciate you coming down and do this, man, and especially it was kind of late notice again. So
Well, listen, I mean, anything I can do to get the word out on some fantastic fundraisers coming to the Missoula area and up in Kalispell.
Oh, really?
I'm all about it.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely. We'll do a big rundown of all of them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess just for what I know off the top of my head, we got the Forestry Ball coming this weekend.
Yep.
The 2nd and 3rd of February.
Yep.
And then Fire and Ice February 10th.
Yep.
And then are you emceeing that?
I am.
Awesome.
Yep.
That'd be great. Man, my wife was just dying last year. She was loving it, man. Because you were like, I'm trying to remember exactly what happened, but I'm pretty sure I just took myself out in the middle of the ice without anyone being around me. And then I heard you coming over the loudspeaker, and I was like, oh, God. And then, like, at the end of the game, I scored, and I was like, I'm back.
I don't know much about hockey, and I've cured that this year. Like, every time somebody scores or there's a penalty, I have to ask everybody what's going on. I yell a rogue, Swenson, what happened? I don't know if you know what happened. And even when he tells me what happened, I still don't know what's going on.
Oh, really?
So I just shout.
Oh,
I just start shouting out.
You had me and everyone else fooled, man. I thought you knew hockey better than anyone in there.
No. And I tell you, it's come a long way, as you well know.
Yeah.
I mean, the first Fire and Ice I went to, let's say that was probably,
I'm trying to remember
6-7 years ago maybe. The first one I went to where the Wildlanders were featured because it used to be just Missoula City and Missoula Rural.
Yeah.
And the first time the Wildlanders played, it was the JV game, right? It was the first. Really? It was kind of let's just say it was not good hockey from the Wildlanders' point of view. This got racked 7-1, 8-1. And now fast forward to last year, give me a break.
Yeah.
I mean, the Wildlanders are skating circles around those guys.
Yeah, clean sweep last year.
Oh, clean
JV
sweep.
and varsity.
Lots of big goals.
Man.
Athletic goals. What can I say, man? It's just gone completely 180. Because those guys, Missoula Fire Department, I know that they hire hockey players.
Yeah.
You're not going to get to be a battalion chief unless you play hockey.
Yeah.
Right? The fix is in.
Yeah, part of the interview.
Yeah,
you look pretty good, but what sports do you play?
Now, there's a funny story about that fundraiser. I don't know if I told this story the last time, but there was a shotgun. Did I tell you this story?
Oh, yeah, I mean, maybe.
So it's a great story. So Randy Ocon was the organizer, great guy. He and his career and mine kind of paralleled each other. And I shoot trap with my wife, and we shoot in what's called the New Shooters League at Missoula Trap and Skeet.
Oh.
In order to do that, you got to have a new shooter every league. You got to have somebody new, bring them to the club, right? And so it brings new people into the club, and I don't have to compete against all the veterans who, if they miss, one clay in 10 weeks, they lose.
Oh, yeah.
These guys, they don't miss. They don't miss out there.
Definitely.
So most new shooters don't have a gun. They don't have a shotgun to use.
Yeah.
So I walk into the Fire on Ice, and they got a nice silent auction upstairs. And so I've only got a few minutes to look around because I got to go MC. And on the table, there's this Browning knife shotgun package. It's perfect.
Hey.
This is perfect. I'm going to be able to get a shotgun tonight. I'm going to contribute to a good cause. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
Right? So I tell my wife, I said, hey, that's probably at Browning, probably an $800 shotgun. Let's go $1,200, $1,500 max, but let's do it.
Yeah.
So I even get Chad Pickering's kids running up and down the stairs, coming to me saying, it's $400, go $5.
Yeah.
It's $8, go $9. It's $1,000, go $12. Right. So at the end of the night, I've had a lot of Big Sky brews because Big Sky is very generous. Big Sky Brewing is extremely generous during that.
Yeah.
$20 all you can drink down there. It's a lot of fun.
Oh,
right?
it's amazing.
So I've had a few, and I'm walking up the stairs because someone told me I won this shotgun. And as I'm going up, people I don't even know are like thanking me. Thank you so much.
You're so generous.
Like, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, happy to help, I get up there and I write a substantial check for that. Not only that, but my wife likes to go do some shopping as well. And
Yeah.
so I write a big check. And I figure probably about $1,500 for the shotgun. And so the next morning we're recovering, as we do.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, hand me that shotgun, And my wife's overlooking at it. She's got it torn apart. We're going to clean it. And she lets the stock on it drop. And it hits the ground in our loading room on the concrete. And it doesn't sound like wood hit the floor.
Oh, no.
And I'm thinking to myself, I said, hey, Browning wouldn't make. That'd be a wooden stock, right? That'd be a wooden, and it's not. And I hold it, and it's plastic. Oh. And I look at it, and it says, on the side where it's engraved, it says, what does it say? Kahn. 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 I'm like, wonder if Kahn's the guy that owned this.
Yeah.
I said, look up Kahn shotgun. She goes to Google, she looks it up, and the first thing says, don't put this shotgun up to your cheek and pull the trigger.
Oh, no. And like the reviews or what?
It's meant to be on the, up on the mantle.
Yeah.
This is a $150 retail shotgun. It's not even close to being a Browning. Oh. So I call Randy Ocon.
Yeah.
Who, this is probably 8:30 in the morning. He's been up just as late as I have. He picks it up on the first ring and he's laughing. He knows.
He knows, yeah.
He knows what's about to happen.
He's waiting for you.
And he said, no, it's a Browning knife and a shotgun package. And we forgot to pick up the Browning knife.
Oh, dang it. Oh.
So that's my experience. That's what generosity will get you down there. But, those guys, they raise at the Fire on Ice. It's February 10th this year, Saturday, February 10th. People get down there about 5 o'clock or so, down at Glacier Ice Rink, down at the fairgrounds in Missoula. If you're a Wild Land firefighter, you're supporting one of those guys, or if you're a Missoula City firefighter, you want to support their benevolent association, you got to get down there. It's a fun night. The stands will be packed to the gills.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to have all the tall boys you can have, all you can drink, live auction, the silent auction, the JV game, the Wild Land Urban Interface Off.
That's what I'm in.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're playing as well.
Yep.
So what's your position going to be? What are you going to be doing?
Center.
You're a center. So what is see, I don't even know this. What do you do? What's your job?
So I take the face-offs, and, do what I can. I'm usually in there just losing face-offs, but I try. And then skate back and forth. You kind of play a little bit of offense, a little bit of defense as a center, so you kind of get the most ice time. And that's why I started playing in the first place, just trying to get a little better workout and get more skating time,
And so everybody if you get fouled, right, or if it's a penalty, they all result, with the exception of like offsides, right, which is not a penalty. But the offsides, you get a shot, right?
Yeah. All the penalty, any kind of penalty, minor or whatever, it results in a penalty shot. And I always forget about that. I'm glad you reminded me. And so that makes it really exciting.
It does.
Yeah, anything like a slash, whatever, you're going for a shot, which is so cool.
Yeah, so it's going to be, 10-8, 8-6.
Yeah.
It's end-to-end action all the time. Awesome. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, it is great. And then having UMC it, because we play like beer leagues, so I'm not used to having someone like announce, so it even brings up the energy even more.
Can you hear me on the ice?
Oh yeah, I can hear you pretty good. I'm trying to think of like when I wiped out. Probably because I was like more sensitive at that point in my life. So like when I wiped out, I heard you clear as day. But it was great.
I'm glad you said that because I got to reach out to the two team captains. Is Rogue going to be the team captain again? Hey, shout out to Rogue Swenson.
Yeah, thank you, Rogue.
I mean, you talk about a guy that took that game by the horns.
Yeah,
and totally turned it around. I mean, it's a dominant performance every year by the Wildlanders.
It's a lot. It's a lot of work for him too. Like last year, he was getting he was getting a little irritable only because it's just like. He does the news things, and I meant to bring him on here. I still got some time. I might reach out to him and see if he wants to come on here, and then just wrangling cats too. Everyone's like in their off season, so he's like, "Hey, what's your bio? And then
I need
what's your
the bio,
donation?
man. I need your bio.
Yeah, exactly.
And a couple funny stories, right? That's what I need. Otherwise, I'll make them up, which I don't mind doing.
Which is great. Yeah. I think that's like part of my wife's favorite part is like the stories. And then the cool thing is you're ribbing both sides, man. It's such an awesome event.
I take equal license with everybody on the ice. You put yourself out there for a fun event like that. I think the crowd enjoys it, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm glad the players. I'm glad you guys can hear me. I never know if people can hear me when they're out there, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
So February 10th on that one. Coming up this weekend. What is that? The 3rd?
Second is
Second
Friday.
and third.
Yeah, and third.
The Foresters
Saturday.
Ball.
Yeah.
Right? Shout out to Jaden Stansbury, right? The Chief Push.
Yeah, Chief Push, Jaden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Legacy Jaden, right?
I think so. I'm trying to. Man. Which my memory worked better, but I'm pretty sure that she's like second, round in her family, at least in the Wild Land, but I think in the Foresters.
These things always run in the family, right?
Yeah, true.
I was the son of a 40-year Forest Service employee, Mike Johnson, who was an engineer.
Really?
Oh yeah, and the Forest Service was and still is. It's a family affair.
It really is.
It really is. I remember being young, and we would do a lot of prescribed burning on the weekends. It still happens. And at that time, everyone would be at the district office. I don't care if you answered phones.
Yeah.
Doug Trail, Mark Timber, you got the timber guys. They got to drag the torches. All the fire people, we never got a torch. I was hauling fuel and putting out spots.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we did.
Yep.
So in order to get everybody out there and participating, you're not going to go out there and pick up spots on a Saturday if it's not your job.
Yeah.
So they're just dragging torches through. We'd ask, could you shorten the strips up? Can you make the strips a little skinnier? We're catching a lot of heat. They're like, yeah, sure. We'll. They would always pour it on.
Oh, yeah, totally, man. Just pumped to be out there. Yeah, no. I was telling some of that the other day, even when I first started, like, I felt like the militia was so much more involved back then. I don't know if the other programs were just getting too busy, but, I mean, when there was a fire, it's like everyone, all hands on deck, everyone put whatever they're doing down. Everyone had a fire bag in their truck, and they would head, and I remember being on the fire just, like, going through some smoke and, like you said, running some timber folks. One of the weeds gals was there, and I was just like, holy cow, man, it's great to see you. It's like this cool community fire, everyone from Whitehall just showed up.
Oh yeah, I mean, and there were some people there who I can list names for days who stopped participating later in their career because fire management started to put a few requirements on it.
Oh.
Right? You had to get some qualifications in order to do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of those folks, they had a day job, right? Yeah, they had to go get their silviculture certification. Yeah. They don't have to take care of theirs. They don't have time to take care of their stuff and then keep up with all the quals and training needed to go out on the weekends anymore. So you're right. We lost a lot of those people who were very comfortable around fire. You learned so much on those burns.
Yeah.
You learn that the fire behavior that you see on a wildfire maybe isn't so bad.
Yeah.
Maybe it's still manageable at 6-8 feet flame length, right? And you learn that comfort level by holding on a fire line, on a prescribed fire line, right? Because you're like, no one's running.
Yeah, exactly.
We're getting some pretty good intensity. We're getting spotting, right? We're getting snags falling, and people are still here.
Yeah, and everyone's calm, especially the people who've been in it. Like, 'cause my first and second year burning, like, that was huge, like, cramming knowledge, and especially before the fire season, So it was like, oh, man, all right. Yeah, this is all right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And my experience, my first experience, I would haul, I was strong enough to haul 2 jerry cans up the hill.
Oh.
And so that's what all I did. I just hauled fuel around. Thinking, well, this is what I'm going to do. I come home smelling like gas.
Shoulders just pumped.
Yeah.
2 jerry cans, that's a lot of weight.
I didn't get to put any. The first time I ever lit, I had 2 drip torches, and I set one down on a stump and kept going. I'd make a strip and come back. And, on one of those strips, I left it somewhere, right? And so I get down 3 or 4 strips, and I'm like, I'm out of fuel. I'm like, oh. And as soon as I realize I've left that torch, I hear this boom up on the hill.
Oh, no.
And I look up, and I see it. It's sitting on this stuff, and it's fully engulfed in flame,
Yeah.
I was I was old enough that no one said, you owe us for that, for that drip torch. But that's how you get a nickname, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly how you get a nickname, and you got to own it. You deserve it. I still have this little pile of aluminum slag in my office from it melting down to nothing. Yeah.
That's good memory, though, man.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
It's really fun stuff. Really fun. I miss it now. I don't get to do that stuff. I don't get to participate in burns very much at all anymore. But that's one thing I really miss is those burn windows and going to burn. Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. And there's so much fun. And like a reunion a lot of times, even still, like some folks that you don't see as much and on the big burns where you get to bring in like, I don't see the jumpers much anymore since I was a jumper and I just don't come this way and no reason to go to the jump base anymore. But on a burn, they come down and help the Bitterroot out. I get to see a handful of my old buddies. It's like, hey, man. And, so it's so fun.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man. Yeah. It's a good community, man. I'm so fortunate to be a part of it.
Yep.
And the foundation, which, kind of full circle on the fundraisers we're talking about, is a big way to give back,
Absolutely. There's two big events that come up in April. We do them back to back. The first one near and dear to me, we started it back about this. Well, this is the 8th annual Putt Pull.
Oh.
Little known fact, it was actually the idea was T-Bros, Tyler Brothers.
Oh, really?
It was his idea. And he came to me and asked if I wanted to get a team for this Putt Pull. He said, you got to get people that can shoot and shoot trap and people who can golf. This is the thing. This is our fundraiser. That's what we do, the putt and the pull. And within 2 years, I was the IC of the planning team, and this is our 8th annual now. And this is great. So this year, we're doing, like I said, on April 20, 420. So we got to get plenty of participation here in the city of Missoula.
Yeah, that's exactly. On the way here, I was like, wait a minute. I didn't catch it until on the way here. I was like, oh.
So
special date.
I open up, we can only take the guys over at University of Montana Golf. That's our golf event. It's our golf venue. The first 2 years, we were out at King Ranch in Frenchtown.
Oh, wow.
And we moved, not because they didn't treat us good out there, but we could put more teams at the university. So I can put 20 teams in the golf, and that's it. Then if you're the 21st team to register, you're on the wait list.
Oh, yeah.
And no one's canceling.
No.
Right? So you can, the wait list and 10 cents get you a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And so last year we had 9 teams on the wait list on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do for them. They still come to the event because it's a fundraiser.
Yeah.
But you're not golfing with your bros, your sisters, right? So this year I announce, I got 9 captains last year calling me every day. Hey, you got any cancellations? No cancellations. Sorry,
Yeah.
So this year I announce it on Sunday, 2 Sundays ago. By Monday morning, I got 20 teams.
Oh, man.
In 24 hours, I'm full.
Yeah.
And that is so typical of Missoula, Western Montana. The Wild Land Firefighter Foundation supports probably 36 local events. It's their largest, aside from corporate donations that they're getting. They're doing a great job down there. Burke, Vicky, the entire staff down there, because it's a small army. It really is. And the board, which is also a small army, not many people. They support about 36 events nationally. And so aside from the corporate donations, which are doing great, Coors, shout out to Pete Coors, right? I mean, come on. I got a funny story about that too. But so aside from all the donations, the number one fundraiser for the foundation every year are these local efforts, right? If it weren't for the local efforts, there's a lot of firefighters' families don't get the support. It's a lot of support. It's a tremendous amount of support. Millions of dollars go out the door in the last 10 years helping families of our fallen, period. It's a fantastic foundation. Something like 87% of what they bring in goes out, which is unheard of.
That's
right?
a lot. Yeah, that's a lot.
It's unbelievable. So we've done, just at the Putt and Pull, we have netted about $330,000 in the last 8 years.
Jeez.
And our average donation is about $40.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for the support of the community And if it weren't not only the financial support from the wildland firefighter community, from dispatchers, researchers, right, our interagency partners, if it weren't for their donations and for the handful of people that plan all this to make it happen, people like Laura Ward, Dave Crum, Jim Ward, I could go on and on. Clint Mendenhall came on board this year doing our raffle sales.
Yeah.
Without those people, we raise zero, right? Someone's got to be there to run that and to make it happen. And so on 420, if you can't get a team, if you can go to MissoulaPuttandPull.org. It's our new site.
Oh, hey.
We have a great webmaster this year. Sue Savage, she's a jeweler in town, a local jeweler. She's volunteering her time to set up all of our social media webpage, MissoulaPuttandPull.org. It looks better than ever.
Thank you, Sue. That's awesome.
Oh, it's unbelievable. She's doing such a good job for us.
Yeah.
You can go there to I've still got trap teams that can register. You can get on my golf wait list. You can get on there, right?
Yeah.
But we can take as many trap teams to shoot as you want. You don't have to do both events, right? So get 5 people to shoot trap. Costs $300 to shoot trap, $300 to play golf, and all that stuff runs all day on Saturday. Then we come together about 6:00 at Missoula Brewing, Highlander Brewing, out on North Reserve, 200 International Drive, Saturday 420. Come on out there. There'll be hundreds of wildland firefighters and their family members.
If not more.
I mean, we will fill that place up.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, if you're listening to my voice right now and you're not a wildland firefighter and you don't support one, or you don't have to come out and show your support. You don't have to be a family member or a boots on the ground firefighter or a dispatcher. You just come out and show your support.
Yeah, so I was going to say that. I'm glad you brought that up. Like, if you just want a social event and you're just curious about it, come out. If you have an interest in shooting trap and have a gun and you have a few friends, like you said, trap's open, and what a great time. What a great way to start your morning off. It's like with trap.
Absolutely. I'll go a little further too this year. And this is what Sue Savage, she's going to kill me because I've forgotten the name of her jewelry design company. You can go on a website; it's on there. But we've put out the call to all artisans, and we have several in the Missoula community who are making us everything from hatchets to paintings, metalwork, woodwork, you name it. Local artisans donating, because as everybody knows, when you go to one of these fundraisers, you're looking for that one-of-a-kind thing.
Yep, totally.
And we have so many artisans now signed up. Rwana knives. We got people that make one-of-a-kind items. And we have an artist in residence, I like to say, Betsy Beebe, out in Vermont. I'm trying to talk her into another painting this year. Dan Poole. Pool designs. I mean, the list goes on and on. But if you want to come out and find some local artwork that is made for the right reasons and come out and put a little dent in that wallet of yours for a great cause, you got to come out on 420. Yeah,
totally. And especially if it's a piece of artwork that you can hang on your wall, because a lot of in the wildland world, like one that comes to my brain is like Jessica Shuey. I'm not sure where she's out of. I just kind of stumbled on her, through the Instagram world, and she has like fire paintings. There's like a lookout tower she did. It's like, man, it's really good art. And then plus, it's got a story behind it, and I feel like, Terry Redland's a great artist who's got like those outdoor, pheasant and like kind of Midwest scenes that are really, really cool. And those kind of speak to me. But otherwise, like, I don't know, not much of an art guy. But if you said like it's attached to something like this, though.
Yeah. And if you're an artist and you're listening to this, you go to our MissoulaPuttandPull.org and you can sign up there, and we can put something in there from one of your creations into our live or silent auction, and that money's going to go directly to help the families of our fallen. So if you're within the sound of my voice, you go to that website and sign that up, and we'll invite you to our party. I'm going to put that microphone in front if you want it. You can talk about exactly what you created, and it's just it'll warm your heart. I guarantee it. Man,
that event is unreal. Like I'd been in the past, but it's more like in passing, or maybe it was a different event. Remember when you were selling also tickets for Shoot for the Loot? Was that a putt and pull event too?
Well, so that got started by Nate Alexander.
Yeah.
Good friend of mine. Nate is a fantastic. I mean, he's put on the Shoot for Loot now for probably the last 5 years. And Nate used to live in Dillon.
Yeah. That's how I know.
Yeah. And so Nate would put on a small banquet and a shoot. So you'd have to shoot for loot. It was a mile shot, right? So there's all these other shooting events. There's shooting events that the kids can plink their 22s. I can take my, I shot with an .6. People have 6.5 Creedmoors. These, amazing long range shots.
Yeah.
But his draw for the shoot for loot was a mile shot, cold barrel. Take your, do your,
get your dope,
get your scope going.
Yeah.
Judge the wind, what have you. And so when he was living in Dillon, he did it at the Dillon shooting range because they had a facility you could get a mile shot.
Oh yeah.
So he doesn't he still has a home there in Dillon, but he's now the helicopter operations specialist for Region 2.
Oh.
At least the last time I heard, he's the Hoss. It's the greatest nickname in the business.
He's
Hoss.
He's Hoss, yeah.
So what he does now is for the shoot for loot, and you can find it online. You can just Google shoot for loot. You'll find it soon enough. But he puts the call out to heli bases around the country to go out to their shooting area and host their own shoot for loot.
Oh, cool.
So on that site, you can buy raffle tickets. Usually has some Cerakoted reach out and touch you long range rifle.
Beautiful.
Just some beautiful custom. I saw one year. It's $12,000 gun, and came with a beautiful case. And I didn't win it, but let's say I bought a few tickets.
Yeah.
For that thing. Nate has the connections in the gun world. They're the most beautiful guns you could possibly imagine. And it's funny in golf when you think about prizes. You get someone who wins a long drive. The prize shouldn't be a driver because they got a driver they like.
True.
Right?
Good point, yeah.
But when the shoot for loot comes around, you get that ticket because the gun you're going to win with that thing is one of a kind, beautiful firearm.
Yeah.
That'll be a great optic, great case. Just one of those things you could pass down through the generations in your family.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I was talking to my dad about this for a while because, especially older shotguns seems like have beautiful engravings on them. There's a gold trigger. Is that Browning gold trigger?
Yeah,
I can't remember. My brother's got one. A beautiful gun. It's like, man, that is kind of cool to pass that stuff down. So like you said, with something like that, it's kind of a piece of artwork,
and it's one of a kind.
And there's a story.
Another one like it. Another one like it.
And yeah, your great grandchildren be like, yeah, great grandpa won this at this shooting contest a mile out. That's a great story.
So there's a great story that came out of the shoot for loot one year. I go into his banquet, and he didn't need my help to do anything. All I had to do was go enjoy the event, which is great. Right, I don't mind emceeing. It's fine. I'll raise money for the foundation till the day they put me in the earth. Right,
Yeah.
It's that good of an organization.
Oh, help me out.
But I get to go and just enjoy the event. Right, so I walk in, and I was too cheap to get four bros to go get a table.
Yeah,
like $1,000 for a table, and to myself I'm saying, hey, I'm as generous as the next guy. But $1,000 for the table? Well, I walk in there, and every table has a rifle and pistols all around the tables, and that's for the people who have purchased the table.
Really?
Right?
Oh,
So he's got 15 tables sold. He's raised $15,000, and everybody there, with maybe the exception of one person I won't give you the name of, they all donated those pistols right back to the fundraiser.
yeah.
And we auctioned off pistols and rifles for probably 3 hours. He probably put $60,000-$70,000 back into the foundation that night.
Oh, it's huge.
So mad props to
Yeah.
Nate Alexander and all the people who showed up that first night and took those gifts and put them right back into the pot.
Yeah, that's amazing. And to folks listening who don't really know much about it, you're like, oh, 70,000, that's a lot of money. And it's like, it is, but also that might be going to a family who just lost their breadwinner, to a fire, whoever, person, Wild Land Firefighter man or female that, lost their life on a fire that could have been the sole income for a family, so it's like, yeah, that money goes a long way for a family like that.
You know, and I'll say, that's exactly right. People normally think like, if there's a fatality or a serious injury, well, maybe the family only gets support for a little bit. I mean, there's families who have a budget sent to them monthly from the foundation because their breadwinner is no longer around.
Yeah.
Right. There's kids trying to make their way go to college, as if that breadwinner were still there. The foundation keeps in touch with those families, as we do as family liaisons and hospital liaisons. We keep track of those families all the time. I just visited Sheldon and Betsy Beebe in Bellows Falls, Vermont last year. Took
really?
my family up there. We visited them, went out to the maple syrup farm out there, and that's what we do.
Yeah, that means so much, man.
It's a family. It's a family affair.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, totally, because it's not like, especially when, the Beebes lost their son, to a wildland fire, and it's not like it's, I don't know, it feels like I don't know, I still have the connection, I guess, their son had with wildland fire, like Justin had. So It's really important,
they're our
family.
family.
Go out there. Yeah, they're our family. Yeah, for life.
For
right?
life.
Yeah, all of us, in the wildland world, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Man, the Wild Land Firefighter Foundation helped me out a ton when I had my tumor, because I was, like last.
I did not know this.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I thought I told you last time. Yeah, so I had a really rare tumor on my kidney, left kidney on my embedded in my adrenal gland. It was called a pheochromocytoma, and I found out later because like after rookie training, smoke jump rookie training in 2013, you got like those nerves that constantly stay with you. You get 6 weeks of hard training, where they're stressing you out to see how you perform under stress and make sure that you make the right decisions when you're under canopy or lack of canopy, in a bad situation. So they keep you stressed out. So that whole next year, I was like, man, I felt like I couldn't shake it. Like I didn't have that like relaxed, like I made it feeling. And then 15 kind of felt the same. I was kind of managing it better. I kind of got used to it. And then my Crohn's started getting really bad, and that's why I had to leave smoke jumping. And and then something else. Oh, and then in 2019 or 2020, I can't remember exactly, maybe 2020, I had to go into the emergency room because my Crohn's was just going bananas. And I was on a bunch of medication, nothing was touching it. So they did abdominal scan of me to make sure there was no blockages. And thank the Lord that this rad tech or radiologist was in there. I think it was the doctor who spotted it, or maybe the rad tech, I'm not sure. Whoever did, I never got to thank him, but they spotted the tumor, and I had no idea. And then my GI doc was like, hey, we got something we got to address here, and I had no idea, and then I had to take a bunch of tests, and they kind of figured what it was before they told me, and then sure enough, it was a pheochromocytoma. And what happens is it's in your adrenals, so it causes that gland to go off, which is your fight or flight response, is what that gland controls. So like your cortisol and your aldosterone. So like out of nowhere, we could be talking right now, and all of a sudden like I'd almost get like a 1,000-yard stare, because it'd be like it'd ping like a bear was just like in the room with us, and I just kind of like be staring because I knew it was coming, so I kind of stare off and try to fight it, and then like come back to the conversation. Oh, it was weird, man. And since it's so hard to get out, that Mayo Clinic was the only hospital in the whole U.S. that has the expertise to handle something like that. So like my medical bill here, like I think we were like 10, 15,000. I think they were talking for the full procedure, to like 40,000 out of pocket to go to Mayo Clinic. It's like, holy cow. So yeah, the foundation helped me out a ton on that. And then the, GoFundMe, where a bunch of the, Wild Land Firefighter community helped out on that one. And yeah, it's crazy. But so I'm definitely in their debt, and I would be, I'd be already wanting to support them, but this gives me a little more reason, because they definitely saved my life.
And your prognosis is good?
Prognosis is good. Yeah, I came back. They, I did get a genetic test, and then they biopsied it because they want to make sure also it wasn't cancerous, because it could be cancerous and a pheochromocytoma, which luckily mine wasn't. And then you could have genetic, like a mutation. So, it could come back, but luckily I didn't have the mutation. But I still have to get tested yearly to make sure it doesn't come back. So
wow,
yeah. So
no, I did not know that, Mr. Bear.
Yeah, so I thought I
glad
told
to see you came through on the other side.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm alive. But yeah, I had that thing for a while. They thought, man, like it was a little bigger than a cherry. I think it ended up almost being somewhere between a cherry and a kiwi size.
Right.
And So it was growing pretty fast, and they said within the next few years I'd either have a heart attack or a stroke, and it would pretty much do me in. I was like,
Unreal.
holy cow, yeah.
So a friend of mine had a tumor in his head,
Oh, yeah.
and they took the tumor out, and he kept it
He did?
on his mantle.
Oh, I asked to keep it. They wouldn't let me. Because they had to do a bunch of research on mine, I guess. But I wanted it. I was like, yeah, it's mine. I grew it.
Well, if it's so rare that they want to keep it for research, you're a lucky fella.
Yeah, really lucky. Yeah, like when I had a video call, because it was during COVID, so I had a video call with the team of docs, and they're like, so we got you scheduled. Like, they already had me scheduled, and they're like, we weren't really going to give you an option to go anywhere else because you wouldn't survive it. It was like the surgery, and the team they had was crazy. Just a giant team, because they had a whole team of the anesthesiology team. I probably reckon that, but a whole team of them, because they had to like help keep me.
All your systems.
Yeah, and monitor while they're going in to cut, because it would start to react and go bananas, and then they'd have to like tell the surgeon to back off, and then they'd have to administer whatever to sedate me a little more and calm the thing down, and then they'd go back in. It was like inches. It took 4 hours to get it out.
Wow.
Yeah, nuts.
Well, it's very interesting because you mentioned that the foundation helped you out.
Right? Yeah.
And
really fast.
Everybody on my team, that's the thing, is, for me, if I get hurt, injured, or killed on a wildland fire response or outside of one, right? The foundation doesn't care if it's in duty, in line of duty, not in the line of duty. They don't care.
Yeah.
You're part of the family, right? And the thing that I will say is that everybody who helps me in this event, and everybody because we got another event to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody who starts their own event and works in these things and volunteers to do this, all of them have been involved in some kind of either an injury, a fatality, a medical emergency, a suicide, right? They have all been a part of it. It's affected their life. And that one of the best ways to recover is to give back.
Yeah,
right?
Truly.
I mean, it's fantastic. It's good for your own brain chemistry, right?
Yeah.
To connect with people. We are so connected during a fire season, and then we get disconnected.
I was going to bring that up, yeah.
And that's what these events are for me. What I get the most out of the Putt and Pull and the Shoot for Loot and the we'll talk about the Flathead WFF banquet that they do. I get to connect with everybody every year. The people that I would normally connect with during some stressful situation of a wildland fire in Northern California, I get to connect with them in April.
Yeah.
And we're all having fun, yucking it up, right? Playing golf, shooting things, what have you, and making money.
Yeah.
It's something that recharges my batteries every year. I get excited about it every year. It really gives me. I get more out of this than anybody.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, because close second at least, because the same. And I was gonna bring that up too about like, for folks who maybe just haven't been yet, or like just maybe are having trouble getting out of the house, because that's like you said, most people in the wildland fire 1,000 miles an hour to nothing. And typically it's a snow or rain event that shuts everything down, and then like a week later you're done. You're
done.
Yeah, and then your whole family and friends are gone.
And for our seasonals, they don't have the job anymore. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh yeah.
Seasonal firefighter, when you're laid off, you are not a federal employee or a state employee anymore. You're not a contractor anymore.
Yeah.
All that, you go from, like you just said, 90 miles an hour to 0.
Yep.
Right? And to make that connection back to home, is tough.
It is, man. And more busy than you know what to do with. You don't have time to think. You don't really have time to even process like what's going on a lot of times with the fire world, especially if you're a new guy or on a hotshot crew or something, and use new guys unisex.
Right.
But
yeah,
like man, and then all of a sudden like you said, all of a sudden you're cut loose and you got a truck full of your stuff.
Right.
And
my wife, bless her heart. I mean, I'm an operations section chief. I spend my entire summer briefing and directing people all day long, taking their input, making a decision, and moving pieces around the board. Well, I don't do that at home. I don't need to do that at home, right?
Yeah.
So when I make a conscious decision when I come home from any incident and when the summer is over to make sure that I am not just directing my wife and my friends on what we're doing and what they need to be doing right now. And that's a conscious effort to turn that off.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got that switch, and it's funny because I think a lot of us do have it. You know, like I don't, you know, I don't like act the barrel chested leader, you know, all the time. But then when it calls for it, or if something like bad's about to happen, you know, like
do it.
Yeah, especially safety risk. Man, it's on. You know, I'll take front and center command. You know, no problem.
Sure.
But if there's not a need, I can just hang back, and especially in training, you know, like let someone else kind of take the reins. But if things are getting a little scary,
and you can get a little owly when you don't have that adrenaline rush anymore.
Yeah,
right.
true.
You can get pretty owly. You can say things that you can be defensive. You can be aggravated when you go home, and all that stuff. Your husband, your wife, your partner, your kids, they can sense all that.
Yeah.
And all they want is you back. They want you to be back.
Totally. That's hard.
So it is a very hard transition.
Yeah.
It's not, and I will say this too, is just because that's happening to you doesn't mean that you're broken. That's a natural reaction to you taking charge, being a leader, right? And having to turn yourself on to be at your best 16, 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
You know, for some people now getting 1,000, 1,500 hours of overtime a year, and then having to retool your whole thought process when you go home. And your family's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Your family and your loved ones at home, they're doing the same thing. They are finding a way to live while you're gone. And then you reinsert yourself into that equation.
Yeah.
How could it go well all the time, right? So it's not that anyone's broken. It's just those are human dynamics at play, and we just got to realize those things, mentor those young folks through that, right, and connect with people.
Yeah.
If anyone within the sound of my voice got nothing to do today, pick up the phone and call a sis or a bro that you know may be having a hard time with this transition. You know who they are, right? You know who they are. Pick up the phone. You can change someone's brain chemistry immediately by just reaching out and connecting.
Yeah, right? Man, like you said, you know who they are, because it's like, especially right off the top of the head, as soon as you said that, I mean, we all can think of like, who haven't I heard from in a minute? Oh man, you know, whoever like you're working with this summer, like, what are they doing? You know, I haven't talked to them since, you know, we got laid off or whatever, or maybe the tea party, you know, the termination party. So it's like, might want to reach out and see how they're doing.
So April 20th down here, you can connect in Missoula. If you are up in the Flathead Valley, up in northwest Montana, the Saturday before on 4/13, Justin Caber, who is the incident commander of that fundraiser up there, great guy, an unbelievable guy. They are knocking it out of the park. I told you we raise $60,000 to $80,000 a year. If they didn't top 100,000 last year, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
they have an amazing. It's unbelievable. They took the banquet style from Nate Alexander, and they've got such amazing community buy-in. Local companies in the Flathead area. I don't know what his secret sauce is. Ian Manny Mendoza. I could go on and on. Lincoln Chute. I can talk for a long time about what those guys have done up there. But they have such community buy-in. You walk in there, there's real estate agents, doctors, gunsmiths. I mean, it's unbelievable. And they have so many huge prizes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They got an amazing auctioneer who like I say, I can go on and on. I think they're doing another UTV this year.
Jeez.
As a giveaway, and they're knocking it out of the park. So you can go, if you just search Flathead Wild Land Firefighter Banquet, you'll find it real quick. It's a ticketed event. They do everything up there at the Flathead County Fairgrounds.
Oh, nice.
And again, it's just a fantastic place to connect.
Man, yeah, they are. Yeah, they are crushing it. You know, I'm friends with them on Instagram, and I didn't really know that there was a Flathead chapter until about a year ago. And then, I mean, I don't know how long they've been going, but I mean, it seems like they're doing an event all the time. You know, I'll be on the socials. I'm like, oh shoot, I'll share.
Yep. And shout out to Jacob and Jenny Juresic, who kind of got the ball rolling back in the day.
Oh, really?
And now Caber and the crew I mean, they're just taking it to new heights. But it all started with Jacob and Jenny Juresic up in Kalispell,
very cool.
having a little meeting. Back in the day, it was called the Wildfire Skills Challenge in Libby. They held it up there, and it was just a crew competition.
Yeah.
And they evolved into a fundraiser. And over time, some fundraisers, they maintain, they have energy to maintain, and some don't. Right, and they try to invigorate that one again. They may well do it again. There is nothing harder than to try to keep the energy going year on year.
Yeah, totally.
Our team changes slightly every year.
Yeah,
a couple people say, I'm tapping out for a couple of years. I just want to go enjoy my spring, right? Outside of this, but they recruit someone to fill in.
Yeah, like I got whoever coming in.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was gonna say something, and my brain kind of went a couple different ways because I was thinking about the flathead. Man, but yeah, like you said, the fundraiser thing, and you can't ever do enough. And having a flathead chapter, is there other chapters of the Wild Land Firefighter Foundation? Do you know?
Those are the ones I'm aware of in Montana.
Yeah,
but if you go onto the if you're not in Western Montana, you can go to the Wild Land Firefighter Foundation. It's wffoundation.org, and you go to their events page. You'll find dozens of them all around the country. It doesn't really matter which Western state you live in, and even some Midwestern and Eastern states, they've got them.
Oh, really? Oh, very cool.
You go to their events page, and you'll see. You can participate all over the country. And if you're again an artisan or a business that benefits from the wildland fire economy, it's time to step up.
Yeah,
it's time to give back. You're going to feel great about it. I can tell you right now with 100% certainty that 87% of that money that you give is going right into mom and dad's pocket, into the spouse's pocket, and to support those kids and people like you and me, right? All of it. It's going. So can't say enough.
No, I can't. Yeah, it's so great. And I remember what it was I was going to say earlier is how last year, I was going to talk to Burke in Burke Miner. Yeah. He remember I was going to interview him at the Putt Pull, and he about killed himself, on accident, like he about impaled himself with a pipe. I was like, oh man, I saw the pictures.
He should be there again. You gonna have the chance to be there on the night of the event, maybe dragging this trailer?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Yeah,
we'll see what we can do for you. We meet bi-weekly to discuss what we're gonna do. We'll stay in touch. Maybe we can have a little more of instead of just one person being interviewed, maybe you got a little round robin event going on.
Yeah, I'll be in for that for sure. Yeah, that's what I was kind of trying to get last year, but
that's a darn good idea.
Yeah,
Mr. Barrett.
Appreciate you. Yeah, well, I'll definitely bring it by, and and just a little bit more about the Highlander brewery event, Highlander beer. Man, incredible. Like you said, 100 people, maybe more, and packed inside and out. Like I remember, I showed up super early just to get a spot for this, to be able to park this, and then I went and grabbed some food with the wife, and then we came back just to socialize, and man, incredible. And people I hadn't seen in years, that had been in fire, and we just went separate ways, and it's amazing.
And I got two real good stories here on something you might see at our fundraiser. So the first year we gave away a Harley Davidson. And this Harley belonged to a local legend here in Missoula. His name was John Fiddler, and John was a Missoula Rural Fire Department battalion chief, and he was the first member of the 52 Club. So that's the Wild Land Firefighters' third largest source of funding is the 52 Club. You can sign up on their website, and you can choose to give a buck a week of your money to support, right?
Yeah.
And it's called the 52 Club. And John Fiddler was the original 52 Club member. And he had a cherry custom paint job, Harley Davidson motorcycle that he babied, right? And just a few weeks or months after he retired, he died and never got to enjoy that bike.
Yeah, sad.
Always going to save it, right? I'm saving it for retirement.
Yeah.
You can draw whatever lesson you want from that one. I make sure to enjoy my time
every day.
So we had a great friend of his donated the bike to us in our first year, and it helped us. It put us really over the top, put us really on the map as far as a fundraiser goes. And so now fast forward about, about 5 years, maybe 6, during the pandemic, we've got a camper that we're raffling off. Beautiful camper. And the person who donated the Harley, Jill Kenyon, won the camper.
Really?
I mean, you talk about karma.
Yeah.
And then, second story I'd say, and I don't need to drop names on this one just because I'd just rather not. I don't think the family would maybe want this story out
Totally get
particularly. But a few years ago, one of the members of our Forest Service family, they had a daughter, and she had cancer. She was diagnosed with cancer at a very young age, and had to go to Spokane for months, right?
Yeah.
To get to the point where she could come back and start to be a normal kid again. And so, a lot of GoFundMe. I don't know if the Wild Land Firefighter Foundation contributed. I don't know. But suffice to say, a lot of people contributed to her success story. She's doing great.
Oh, that's great.
And last year, she won the e-bike.
Really?
She was right there when I pulled the name out. I looked at it, and I recognized the name immediately, and I could hardly even speak.
Oh, man.
And she's sitting right there, this young girl who's been through hell on earth, right?
Yeah.
And come out shining like a diamond, and she won this big e-bike.
Oh, man.
It's
so
just
cool.
It's amazing how some things just come full circle.
Yeah, man. That's like the old saying, you get what you give, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like it applies a lot, especially to this event and all these events that we're talking about, and then reaching out to folks. And that's where like you kind of brought up earlier about like being social. Like me too. Like it's kind of like this podcast is for awareness, you know, like these topics that we're covering I think are super important. That's one of the bigger motivations of why I got this going, you know, and an excuse to come hang out with like cool people like you. And but yeah, man, I mean, just getting it kind of got derailed myself on that one, but you know, just getting to share some good stories and helping out, you know, and like so I get that back. And I guess that's where I was going full circle with this, is that, you know, like going to the Highlander beer event or going to the Putt and Pull, Fire and Ice, it's just like, man, I just get energy from being around folks. It makes you feel good, you know, like being able to engage in such a positive event, you know.
Come on in. It's a family affair. You'll feel it right away. And it's just it's a very rewarding experience, any one of these fundraisers, and all for a fantastic cause.
Yeah, rewarding. Yeah, I guess that was a good way to sum up what I was looping around.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate that, CJ. I got one more question for you. I know we're kind of getting close to time. We're about 52 minutes in.
All right.
So I've been watching, making sure I don't want to keep you too long, and you know I got family at home waiting on me anyways. But I heard rumor a long time ago that to help you with your public speaking, you did some stand-up comedy for a little bit. Did we talk about this before?
I did. You know, I did an open mic here in Missoula.
Yeah.
And I had a stutter when I was a kid, and I still have. You can kind of hear it sometimes. I'll start to stutter, especially now when I'm thinking about it.
Oh, right? Really?
Because you have to be very intentional. There's many different strategies you can take to stop stuttering, right?
Yeah.
My dad had a stutter.
Oh, really?
And all it would take for Dad would be to hear the word. He could see it in his mind. It just couldn't come out of his mouth. So us kids, we grew up finishing Dad's sentences. So he'd struggle, and we'd say, bicycle, bicycle. He'd pop it right out.
Yeah.
So I had, for my stuttering, what the cure for it, or the therapy that helped me through, was being to enunciate.
Oh, yeah.
Always enunciate. And I have to think about, or at least I did when I was younger, I had to think about precisely what I would say and even practice it. I would literally practice what I would say. And when I ran the training center, I would practice my open, how I would open up every class. And I would practice on the way home the night before the class, on the way to the university in the morning. I would practice all the things I was going to say, literally speak them all out, not just write them down. I would say, this is what I'm going to say to open this class. And I stuck with that for years and years, and just gradually you just became a little bit better, a little more loose. Because any of my childhood friends, they could tell you that he stuttered. Right? And to know that I'm emceeing events and being comfortable in front of a crowd took a lot of practice and a lot of support from people.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm a product of the same kind of support that we're looking for in these events. Someone hadn't taken the time to help me out. I wouldn't say I'd be a dramatically different person, but I'm able to communicate a little clearer, a little easier, and expand your horizons, right? Sometimes people with a speech impediment can get closed in. Well, you don't feel like you can communicate well.
Yeah,
right?
and as the person, listening to someone who has a speech impediment, and I mumble a little bit too, so I can kind of man, I can't think of words today, so I can kind of understand where you're coming from with the
you can relate.
God dang, that's what I was looking for. I was fishing for it the whole time. I was like, it'll come.
Well, I grew up prompting my dad
to
finish the sentence, right?
I'm going to have to bring you along with me more often.
Yeah.
CJ was that word. But yeah, so like with me too, I'd mumble a lot, and I just didn't really speak up as a kid, and maybe a little bit of stage fright, maybe. I don't know. I didn't feel shy, but there's something, whatever it was, I mumbled, and I had to think about enunciation. So I can relate a little bit to that. And then also I think, not lip service here, just my honest opinion, like walking into your class for the first time, I'd taken like a lot of our classes in-house, or guard school. So then getting shipped off from Little Whitehall to the big city, Missoula, and going to one of your classes. And then, you gave this great opening speech, and like it brings everybody in, I mean, to me, it just seemed natural. So like, I guess it just shows that like, you got to put a little work into anything to make it really, really, different, good, bring a better caliber to it, I guess.
Yeah,
man, and it shows. I mean, that's I guess what I'm saying is like the proof is in the pudding on that. Because like when I first walked in, I was like, man, I was really impressed. I was like, that was a great speech, and telling everybody you got their back right away, and with action and words, by taking everyone's phone number down or giving everybody your phone number, and letting them know call
anytime.
If you need. Yeah, I mean, just like this, it's like, hey man, I need you
anytime.
Yeah, so I appreciate that. And then also I was gonna say too, like, you mentioned about just people helping you out to become what you are now, and and that's so true too. I think anybody who says they did something on their own is a liar. I think any of it takes support. I've had a ton of support in this, and it's still gaining its legs, but it's starting to do pretty good. Starting to, like I was telling you earlier.
I can't tell you how many people. I still am very anxious every time I go out on an incident. I'm now a complex safety officer. I'm a Type 2 operations section chief, and I don't sleep a wink for probably 48 hours before I go on assignment.
Really?
I am very anxious about how I'm going to perform. Will I be up to the task every time? And this is year 32 for me. And it's funny, when I vocalize that, I do a program called Stress First Aid. And it's a way to self-reflect and to help out someone really well. It's a very tactical approach to stress response, right? And so I was briefing my incident management team on stress first aid. How can you deal with stress from an incident management team perspective, especially if you're retired and you're out fishing, hiking, painting, or what have you, and all of a sudden now you're staring at a column that's threatening a city. Right? Yeah. So how do you prepare for that? How do you deal with it in the immediacy, and then how do you reconcile it all when it's over, right? Yeah. And so I told the same thing to this group, and these people have been doing this. A lot of these people on the team have forgotten more about wildfire than I'll ever know. And I said that very same thing, that I get anxious 24, 48 hours before, and I don't sleep. And this longtime operations section chief who wrote the book on it, and he's there with the Twin Towers. He was there, for these major wildfire events. He admitted on that call he did the same thing, and he thought it was odd that he did that, and it was nice to have another person who shared that anxiety. Yeah. And it allowed him to open up and to say, I may have a facade, but I'm really faking it till I make it for the first 48 hours. I'm very concerned about how well I'm going to do here, until you're 24, 48 hours in, and you start to get on cruise control and realize that I can do this. Yeah. And I'm going to do this. I am doing this. So it happens to me every time I go on one of these assignments every single time.
That's nice to hear. 'Cause I think that happens to a lot more of us than people want to admit. You know, it happened to me even, whenever I was going on a fire, smoke jumper, like, especially I'd been doing it for 5 years, and it's like I still get in the plane. I get in the plane after 5 years, and it's like nerves are still hitting, especially if I'm the first one out the door, because then I'm taking over right away, and it's like, all right, I've done this before. You've been here
fall
before.
back on your training, and you fall back on those lessons you got from those folks who gave you a break, right?
Yeah.
Gave you that instruction, those stories. That's how you learned not only the good stuff, but people telling you the stories how they failed.
Yeah.
And you failed, and you put all that stuff away, and you pass it on. That's our job, is to pass it on. The only thing I want in my professional life is to make sure that when I leave that seat, whatever seat I've left over my career, there's somebody ready, willing, and able to fill in behind me.
Yeah.
Right? That's all of our responsibility.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think a lot of people want to just like leave their legacy. Not a lot of people. There's a few, very few, I think, that want to leave their legacy but don't want someone else to do better. And like I think as good leaders, you want your person, whoever's coming up behind you, you want them to do better. Like even as a parent, it's like I want my kids to do a lot better. I want them to think I'm a caveman by the time they're my age. Like
the L280 power paradox. The more power you give, the more you get back.
Yeah.
And that is a true statement.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. And applies in life and all kinds of facets. Man, well, can't believe that word just came to me, but we're in.
Well, it was great talking today,
Yeah.
Luke. I really appreciate you reaching out to me to help get the word out on these events. I can't thank you enough. I mean, I got a loud mouth, but I don't have the reach that you've got. So I really appreciate it, Luke.
Well, I appreciate you and those kind words too, man. I'm blushing. I don't know if anyone can tell, but thank you, CJ. I appreciate you taking the time.
All right.